Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by the shop. So this is a little preview of some work that I'm going to do for myself. As you can see, I've got a fly cutter in the mill and I'm cleaning up a tooling plate here. And it's a preview of a little job that I'm going to do. So I wanted to get the tooling plate straight. Recently, I did a little work on my Fireball tool 8-inch Mega Square. And we're going to click to a photo, or two photos here. One photo showed it on a different palette, how I set it up, and the second one showed the use of ears on the palette. It's an option that Jason created in his new line of product there. I had purchased these earlier, and so I drilled and tapped. It was real simple on the mill, and I'm using the ears off of my palette for right now. I may make ears for this guy. But so real happy with that. It's going to be a very useful tool. Well, I'm prepping this plate because I'm going to do the same thing to my large Mega Square here. And this is something new that he has done. He's casted bosses into the Mega Square. This is the aluminum one. And so what I plan on doing is attaching my own bosses, and hopefully that shows up in the camera. So it'd be fairly simple once I get it set on the plate here. Location, and I'm going to attach bosses on both sides of the tool. So getting it set on the plate, I can actually flip it over and complete the second side. Part of the preview is to fish for any thoughts or comments from viewers. My plan is to come in here, find my location, 5/8 post here. So I'll create a pocket with a 5/8 end mill, kind of cope the side here, and then I'll still be on center, drill a hole, clearance hole, and then be attaching these with a stud from both sides. Not going to weld on this unit. I think this will be strong enough for the use. I was contemplating actually milling a little plate that would bolt through the web this way, but I think this stud application is going to work okay. So I'll film this as I go on, but this is just a little preview, and looking for any feedback from anybody that wants to make some comments on it. Okay, thanks for stopping by and appreciate it. As I was over filming with Carl, we had a little discussion about my project here. And you know, it's sometimes you're in the forest and you can't see the trees. So let me rotate the camera here for a second. I'm going to go handheld for you just to talk about this. So, as you know, I haven't proceeded with this since I picked up the Northridge grinder and I'm playing with that. But as I mentioned, I'm adding these posts so that I can put the tabs on here. The Fireball tool now casts these posts into the design. So my plan was, you know, I'm going to have a post on both sides, and I'm going to have to have a threaded rod to tighten them. And I've been hemming and hawing how I was going to do that. And I actually was fooling around and tried making a smaller rod out of a cap screw to see if I could screw the two together and still use a 1/4-20 as my attachment for the tabs. And so Carl and I were talking about it today, and it's just too funny. I was talking about using a smaller cap screw in here for the attachment so that I could get the 1/4-20 thread in here still. and I think I was almost down to a number 6 to make it work. Even then was not really going to work. And honestly, I can't think of who thought it up. I think at one point I was saying, you know, I don't want to put cut hexes on this and then try to hold it. It'll be in a corner on some of these and mess up the aluminum, since it's all aluminum. And I was talking about, you know, using a cap screw on top and try to tighten it down, and I said I just don't want to cut hexes on it or whatever, everything. And it's somewhere, and I can't remember if Carl thought it up or I thought it up, but it was just so damn simple. All right, guys, I got a lot of technical people out there. What's the simple fix to tighten these 2 pegs to each other? Of course, I'm going to put a threaded rod in there. Make it a little bit taller, and I got a sacrificial top, and I can put a pipe wrench, channel locks, I can cut flats, whatever I want. Tighten these together, and then of course I'm going to mill them off anyway so they're flush. And it was like, are you kidding me? Just too simple, but sometimes you overthink things and you forget to, the old KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So anyway, got that figured out. That took a lot of pressure off me. That's been something that's been bothering me on how I was going to do that. My good friend Robin Renzetti suggested picking up some Loctite products to also use as an adhesive that would bond it to the base and bond it to the wall. I've got all those products now, and so this should be moving forward. All right, enough of my yakety yak. Okay, well, you just got done watching my previous videos on the Fireball tool Mega Square and how I wanted to add bosses so that I could put tabs on it. And I had talked about using a aluminum slug and was trying to figure out how I was going to attach this aluminum slug. I'd actually looked at scarfing this face here besides bolting and then gluing, and this project's been sitting for a long time. I'll try to even figure out how many months, or half a year better. So today I looked at it and I think I've come up with a better solution. It's one of those things, usually for me, if I don't rush into it, let something sit and keep looking at it, the brain fart finally comes and I think I come up with a better idea. So you can see I have something right here in the chuck right here. It's a shoulder bolt, and so my thought here is, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it, is it's a 1/2 inch diameter shoulder bolt, and so by taking the 1/2 inch shoulder bolt, I can drill and tap the top of it for 1/4 20 attachment. So that would be sitting there below, and now I can put my pieces of metal on to act as tangs. So I'm looking at having the attachment on both sides. So I drilled and tapped the shoulder bolt, and a regular shoulder bolt now threads into it. So doing the math, basically, if I order 1-inch shoulder bolts, I'll have the correct height to have these sitting flush with the top of the Mega Square. I have the ability with the Allen head that I can tighten these between the plate, and so I'll have a very secure attachment to have a mounting post rather than trying to do the aluminum idea that I was using. So I'm pretty confident this is going to be a winner. So what my plan is to eyeball these mounting points. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to basically get them close by eyeball, but I don't need to get dead center and specific measure. I'm not going to have them touch the wall, but I'll find a nice symmetrical view for both sides, and that's going to be my locator using that post. Then I'm going to come over with a 5/8 end mill, which is the size of this head, and get myself a nice clean flat. Now, running around and checking heights here, it's about 20 thousandths high right over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one bench height, and by using this tooling I can interchange the tooling, and I'll end up at the same height, so I can move around. So my plan is to create a little flat with that end mill, come back in, center drill, and then make the clearance hole for the 3/8 bolt. It's a W size drill. That's what you saw me turning down on the surface grinder, so it would fit this collet in here. Just happened to have a W stubby drill, which was quite fortunate. Well, I'm over here at the surface grinder using my Suburban Tool Master Grind, and I think Harold, Amateur Redneck Workshop, taught me this trick. Since I don't have a belt setup or a motor hooked up to my master grind, got a rubber plunger here and getting it to spin. Seems to be working good. Got the guard down just in case something crazy goes on. But I think it's good and safe. Okay, don't know if you can see it there, but my grind came out good. And hey, I wasn't throwing Harold under the bus. He's my good buddy and just having fun with him. So needed to turn this guy down so it would fit on a collet. So we'll bring you back. Here's just a front-on view of it, just so you can see it. So I think it's going to be a nice, very simple build. Call McMaster Card, order the shoulder bolts, do a little machining on those, and I think it'll be good. I've showed this tooling before. This is a Jahrl. It was actually marketed by Tapmatic. Let me turn on the mill. This tooling, you can actually install it as the mill's running. So you can put it in, you can take it out. Put it in, take it out. So that's going to allow me to not to have to change anything out of the spindle. Once I set my height, I can set my Z for my end mill, and everything else can be just poke and go, and the end mill will come down on a stop, and I'll end up with the same cut each time. So let me get everything else ready, and that's kind of just a synopsis of what's going to take place here. Okay. I just came off with some vertical lines and off of this face, and then basically brought the part over and took a visual on how it looked off of the 90-degree line, and I think I like it. Set this at 0. This is my nope, this is my lowest point. I gotta move one more time. Just remembered. Nope, this is it. This one's down 15 thousandths compared to everything else. So that'll be my 0, 0. So I have that 0, 0 on the DRO, and I'm just going to write down this dimension over here is 3.4042. 042. So I can pick up this one, what I've eyeballed so far. So let's, whoop, didn't mean to hit the microphone. Let's give it some hell here. So I'm on my point that I want to be on. I got my end mill in. Table's locked. I'm going to come down and just get me a nice flat. I'll live with that right there. I'm going to set my Z here, but I want to bring it up on a dead stop. Got to mention that I'm really enjoying the steering wheel, and I'm really enjoying the my method of attachment. As you guys saw in my last video, I showed the Titan centering scope, and being the fact that the centering scope had to come over here for setting it up, the steering wheel's in the way. Slid it off, rotated the handle, done. If I had this bolted on, I would have had to unbolt it. I wouldn't have unbolted, I wouldn't have done the centering scope probably. Okay, so got the end mill set. We're good there on height. And then with our center drill. Haha! Okay, wise guy. That got me. Different height. Alright, let me reset. Hang on, guys. I see what I gotta do. I gotta use my dial indicator and not my dead stop. Put you to sleep for a second. Okay, back in action. Got the dial indicator set on the quill mate. A little mark here, so Bozo don't come and see me. You should be good to go. Back at it. Really no reason to go all the way through. phone call. All right, wake up. So, finished drilling this hole. As you saw, I had a little bit of spin there on the drill bit. I hadn't really tightened that collet very well. So let's finish punching this hole. Oh, it was just catching there as it went through. So on to the next. A double look eyeball wise, should be good. Go in with the end mill. Better check. I didn't check, make sure I got the right clearance hole. Nice. I like it. Now, in retrospect, looking at what I just did, I could have went with a 1/2 inch hole and not the 5/8, because this never touches down there. Better talk to QA about this. Now, do I continue on with the 5/8, or do I flip to a 1/2 inch and just pop the 1/2 inch? I'm gonna stay with the 5/8. What the hell? Keep bozo. Nobody can say it was a bozo. I didn't talk about that. That's what I really wanted it to happen, just like that. Okay. Well, let's go line up some more and see what we can do. Okay, think I like that? Yep, I like it. Hey! Didn't have that collar tight enough. Got a little hot in there, Charlie. A little lubrication might have helped. There we go. We'll fix that. We'll fix that. And let's finish the last hole. Finish not the last hole, but this hole. Hang on 1 second, guys. Gonna make a change here. Okay, let's get back at it. Let's see. Let's stop again. I got to fix my one center drill there, and then we'll go back at it. Okay, let's get back with it. Okay, liking that. Ray Cornelia's texting me there. He's gonna have to wait. What am I doing? Hang on, phone again. Okay. Let's move on. Next one is all the way down. Aha! it's not going to be, because then I got to move the mill head. So, can we get... Pardon my head, guys. Yep, I think I can live with that. So what am I lined up on? So I can repeat it. Edge is on my line. All right. Barely scratching there. Wow, couldn't have got that one more close. Look at my board. This one's up a little. Okay. Well, as long as you know, my son's in the hospital. This has been some nice therapy time for myself over here. Wife's coming home so we can go get some dinner, so time to go get dinner. We'll bring you back.